Notnerd Podcast, Episode 184, Mmmbop Depop.
Welcome to the Notnerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we're here to help you tech better. We've got all kinds of tech news and tips that you are going to learn from today. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello there, Nate, and happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you.
Yesterday.
Yes. As we record the Father's Day weekend.
Yes. Did you, in my household, Father's Day equals manly stuff, and if there's a gift, it's manly related. Is there anything? Did you get a gift?
You know me, the manliest man around.
Yes.
I got some hunting gear and some parts for my truck.
Yeah.
Not a lot of manly stuff. I got some wheels. Some little things I need, and we went over to my parents' house. I DJ'd a graduation party on Saturday where there was more barbecue than you could shake a fist at, so I ate a ton there, and we barbecued yesterday, and I think I'm going to barbecue tonight, so it's a good time of year. The barbecues are in full session.
I'm going to come over.
Yeah. Hey, I just want, before we get into our follow-up, I noticed in all the tech news I follow, especially Tech Meme is one of the great sites where they just post all the different articles. They kind of bring, much like we do on the podcast. And IPOs, we've talked about a few in the past, initial public offerings when companies are making stock available to the public. It's crazy. Like, I swear we're in another tech bubble. I see so many every week. And one of the ones why I wanted to bring it up today, Fiverr, which we've talked about before. You can go on there and you can pay somebody to do some little task. And we've been using it some for some
graphic design.
Work. And just helping with that. And there's all these people all over the world that'll say, hey, for $5, I'll do this. And you pay them. And of course, it goes more than $5 quickly, depending on what you need done.
That gets your foot in the door.
Yeah, but Fiverr just did an IPO. I think Pinterest. I mean, all these different companies. It happens all the time. We don't follow it much because stocks really don't apply to what we're here to talk about.
No.
We're here to talk about how to use technology better. But I thought I would mention, we are aware that these happen.
Yeah.
We just don't discuss everyone because that would be a whole hour-long podcast episode by itself.
Right.
Follow-up. This last week was E3, the big gaming conference or convention, I believe, in Los Angeles. And there was most of the major video game manufacturers. I think several, they don't have big presences on the show floor with booths and that sort of things, but there's a lot of announcements come up. And from what I've heard, I'm not a big gamer, but following it as I do, that there are a ton of gaming subscription services coming out. We've talked about Google Stadia. We've talked about Apple's upcoming Arcade Plus. There's several others. Dave, you are much more a gamer than I. Have you heard anything? Is there anything? Ubisoft has one that's coming out where all their games are going to be available for a subscription fee.
Yeah, it's... gaming has gone to the cloud, and if it's not this next generation, it certainly will be the following one, where you may not even have a piece of hardware that you purchase from these gaming companies. You just buy the software, rent the software, do whatever.
Yeah.
We've got Google Stadia doing or is it Stadia? I don't know how it's pronounced.
Stadia
is promises to stream games right to your mobile devices or computers or whatever you've got. The new Xbox that's going to be coming out will have a hardware component, but you can optionally play the games on mobile devices, whatever you've got lying around, for a subscription fee, of course. And Nintendo right now is sticking with the hardware game, and they're kind of locked. They're usually one or two generations behind on all these newfangled ways to game and to purchase games. The bubble has kind of burst with hardware technology now. We've got such powerful PlayStations and Xboxes coming out. They're like supercomputers.
Yeah,
they can do anything. But guess what? We also have that capability in the cloud. And so the thought is, instead of having someone pay $400 to $500 for a gaming console, can we just kind of skip that part and just sell them the software? And it makes everybody's lives easier.
Yeah. And much like the TV, we're going to have a bunch more subscriptions, so you'll have to weigh out.
Yeah.
Because Disney's got everybody's got new TV subscription options, and all the gaming companies are doing subscription options. The music companies, everything's moving to this subscription model because it's really nice to get money coming in every month.
And I know it feels shocking when you look at the subscription list and what you're paying and all these different services, but I have yet to hit that subscription fatigue. I'm fairly conservative on what I do. Netflix is a staple, of course. We pay for Amazon through the Amazon Prime, so I count that as free. But we do have a streaming music service that we subscribe to, and I've tested out HBO and CBS All Access. But even all of those combined together, for the $50 or $60 that it costs me each month, I would much rather have than a locked-in cable subscription.
2-year agreement with the cable company.
And then you move and you got to do all this stuff, and then they lower the prices, but not for you because you're a subscriber. And I just don't want to mess in that realm. And guess what? I can turn on my CBS and HBO subscriptions on and off as desired with my phone. It's very simple. So this is a world I still want to live in. No matter how fragmented it gets out there, I think it's still something that I would prefer over the traditional subscriptions.
Yep, that makes sense to me. We talk about this every year when she puts it out. Mary Meeker has delivered her annual Internet Trends Report.
She sounds like a Marvel comic book character.
Yes.
Peter Parker, Mary Meeker.
She is the undercover superhero of the Internet Trends. The Code Conference was this last week, which I did not hear much about, but she always presents her report, and she goes through all the statistics, and it is 333-page slideshow that look back at every important internet trend in the last year and look forward about what these trends tell us to expect in the year ahead.
I went through all of it when I was in the bathroom the other day, so
memorized it all.
Some light reading.
Luckily, Recode went through and summarized some of the major things, and she does say this year that some 51% of the world, 3.8 billion people, were internet users last year, up from 49% in 2017. So that makes sense. More people are using the internet.
And more people are alive.
Yes. 7 out of 10 of the world's most valuable companies by market cap are tech companies. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Alphabet, the parent of Google, are the top 4 market cap companies. Talking a lot about e-commerce. It's just there's a lot of interesting information in there. I don't know how much it applies to our daily lives, but if you are very bored and want to know what's going on in the internet, go check that out. Oh, shocker, healthcare is steadily becoming more digitized.
Yeah.
Isn't everything steadily becoming more digitized?
Everything that can be digitized is being digitized. Even physical objects, if you have a 3D printer.
Hey, there you go. Speaking of 3D objects, kind of, Snapchat. So we've talked about Snapchat and how they have been trying... trying all these gaming things and all these things because they have shareholders that they're trying to keep happy. Well, what really makes a big difference for them? The gender swapping and baby filters that they've added, that everybody's doing these. I've seen some pretty creative ones of people doing like a song duet, like the Grease whatever song, and they'll play the guy part and the girl part using these. So yeah, Snapchat, no matter what they try, it just seems to be all about the filters. So they said that it doubled app downloads since they released those new filters.
Looked at the charts, and it steadily just skyrockets after the filters were announced. It maybe inspires me. I know I'm a month late to the party. I might re-download Snapchat and log in and see if I can see these filters.
I'm just impressed. Usually whenever we bring up Snapchat, you get on your phone, download it again, and try it out during the show.
And then I'm lost the rest of the show. And you carry it by yourself. My phone is over there currently getting a beta update. So
Oh, good. I should have you do that every week. Put your phone down. Dropbox. We were actually just talking about Dropbox the other day and if it would be a good thing to use in our workflows. Mm-hmm. Well, they have done kind of a major version 2.0, and I mean, it's way past version 2.0, an all-new version of Dropbox where they're really...
A reimagining.
Yes.
A reimagining of it. It's completely different. Same core structure, but they've added a lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah, so they, Dropbox has always been the place where you put files on the cloud and you can share those files. Well, they're adding in a bunch of kind of task management, chat type stuff. I think they're looking around and going, well, everybody's got cloud storage. That's easy now. How can we add some of the features that like Slack or Todoist or all these other
and there's the collaboration aspect as well, so that teams and companies can use it together, much like Zoom or Slack and those type of things.
And of course, I've heard some people grumble on the internet about, oh, don't change Dropbox. But there's probably also a lot of people that want Dropbox to have some more features. So the typical conversation with anything, don't change it, please change it.
And the ones who are complaining that they don't want it to change are the free subscribers who have the 50 gigabytes. And they're like, I've used this free for 20 years, don't change a thing.
Yep. DJI, our favorite drone company that we can't really call a drone company anymore, they have a new $499 tank to help teach kids to code. There's a million products out there trying to help teach kids to code and get into this thing.
Well, it's important to note for our listeners that the tank that we're talking about is not like a pool with water in it that stores a water tank. This is a military type tank with wheels and a shooter and the rest
a
barrel, a gun.
Yes.
A cannon.
So basically a remote control car with a little cannon on there, and kids put it together, and there's software that they can use to do battle mode and all these different things. But DJI, it's like once a month they're coming out with some new product, and it looks pretty cool. $500. I don't think I'll be in line to buy one of these. My daughter's probably a little young to benefit from this.
I mean, it's neat that they can learn to code and, probably have the thing go forward 20 feet and then turn right, then fire at a target, then come back, which is really cool. Lego Mindstorms does similar things. You can get those. A lot of the schools use this. And so this looks like their attempt to kind of go into the education market to sell some of their hardware.
Yeah. Kind of the entry-level BattleBots robotics. I was actually talking to a guy this weekend, and he did a lot of robotics competitions in high school. So it's my first robotics type of a thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yep. Uber. We keep talking about Uber. Uber Eats.
They do.
Yes, they eat lots. Uber Eats, their food delivery service, they're going to start rolling out drone delivery in the U.S. this year. We've heard about some Australia food drones and like some very limited, but I believe in San Diego they're going to start for doing the drone delivery, so they will soon not need people anymore to be able to do all their deliveries and take everybody everywhere.
Well, they're going to need people to put the food together, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Why not? Uber Chef. Ooh, register that domain quick.
Yes.
Yeah, another Uber, more Uber. We were wasn't it last week we were talking about their helicopter shuttle service in New York City? Well, in Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
That's how you say it, Melbourne?
Melbourne, where our dear friend of the show, Elliot, lives. They are rolling out an actual flying taxi service this year.
So, Elliot, you have to... Now, I know we talked about the Axe body spray and the hunting with the bows and arrows, but you got to try this air taxi. It can't cost that much.
No, it's got to be cheap. So, yeah, we need a video report from you once that gets going.
I'm live from Uber One over here above the Melbourne Sydney Opera House. No, that's a different place. Yes. But anyway, that'd be really fun.
Yep. You know what else is always really fun? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
That's true. And this week, I thought we would talk about something very near and dear to our hearts, backups. It's like hitting a dead horse. I know, beat this thing, make it work, whatever. I was helping a staff member just today and yesterday. His iPad died. Let's just say it died. Screen problems was a big issue. I said, you've had this thing for a number of years. It's time to get something in this century, right? So we went out and got a new one. And I said, well, before I wipe this, let's make a backup. And he opted to do an iTunes backup with his computer, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
Your other option is to do an iCloud backup. And there's some third-party tools that can back up as well. So I said, that's great. Got him the new machine, dropped it off to him this morning, started installing it. And then he texts me back, says, I got an issue. I got this message. The short of the story is iTunes needed updated, and I think his OS probably had a small system update and a security update and all these things. And so in order for him to restore his backup to the newer iPad, his entire computer basically had to be updated.
Oh.
So if you're going to be changing devices, I would recommend minimally backing up to iCloud.
Mm-hmm.
The iCloud service is so affordable. Well, it's free for 5 gigabytes. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's basically a free portal to put backups into the cloud. And the beautiful thing is if he would have had an iCloud backup that was recently there, he just signs into the new iPad, says restore from backup, puts in his ID credentials, and it's right there. And then he walks away for 20 minutes and then his iPad's working. It would have been much less complicated. Now, there's some people out there who may not trust the cloud or they don't have good internet access to do these type of things. But for most of us, I think, iCloud backups are the way to go for your iOS Apple devices. So you can, like I said, the 5 gigabyte storage option comes with every iCloud account, which is plenty to back up most devices to the cloud. Now, you're not always going to get your data backed up, like if you had, I don't know, tons of photos and videos and all that stuff.
That's where you start running into that.
But the basic stuff it can back up. And if you do need more storage, it is well worth it to pay a little bit more. For a mere $12 a year, 99 cents a month, you can upgrade to 50 gigabytes just for spare change. But I just wanted to cover the costs real quick. So in the US, 50 gigabytes is $1, 200 gigabytes, $3 a month, 2 terabytes, $10 a month. Australia, I've got $149 for the 50, $449 for the 200 gigabytes, and 2 terabytes, $14.99. And for the UK, you Brits out there, we're going to do this in pounds. For 79 pence, you can get your 50 gigabytes. For £2.49, you can get 200 gigabytes. And for 2 terabytes, £6.99. It's well worth it. Right now, because I've been experimenting with storing large video files and stuff, I'm on the 2 terabyte plan.
Yeah.
I'll probably go back down to the smaller plan later. But what is your data worth? Is it worth $10 a month? Or $2 a month or $3 a month to have a good backup of your device? That's my question to you, Nate.
It is well worth it. And when I had issues with my iPhone, I did a backup at home just because I'm me and one backup is none backup.
Right.
But I know you can go in there and look, and every night when it's plugged in, charging overnight and connected to Wi-Fi, it does the iCloud backup. It makes sure everything's synced up. Mm-hmm. So when I went to the Apple store, switched out my phone, they gave me the new one. They had me sign in right there. It started the restore from iCloud. I was good to go.
And in probably less than 5 minutes, you had a usable device with most of the original applications that were on there. And then slowly it will trickle in the remaining data and applications over time.
And it goes back to the conversation we've had a million times about new phone, who dis, like at least sync your contacts. And your basic data in there if you can't afford the 99 cents a month just on the free 5 gigs. As long as you're not backing up your photos, you can, like you were saying, get most of your app data and the basic data synced up. But I remember my mom, I finally convinced her the 99 cents a month because she kept getting that little warning on her phone saying, you cannot be backed up. It cannot be backed up.
Right.
And now she tells all of her friends it was the best thing I ever
It's
did.
$1.
$1 a month.
Yeah.
And now she just doesn't have to worry about that. If you lose your phone, if it gets stolen, if you break it, if it messes up, anything, you have all your data in the cloud. It just makes sense, folks.
And for those of you who use Android, you're not left out.
No.
You don't have to sit on the bench. Google offers free backup storage for your devices as well.
Yep.
You created a Google account, sign in, and it will say, hey, do you want to back up this device? You say, yes, sir, I do.
Yeah.
And it works very similar to iCloud.
I like it. Okay, let's move on to our takes of the week. Mattel, Hot Wheels. Dave, Hot Wheels, big part of my childhood. Those orange tracks, the Hot Wheels cars, the hot rods, racing them around, jumping them, all that stuff. Were you a big Hot Wheels family?
No, well, we were a big Hot Wheels family. I myself was more of a Lego type guy, but my older brother loved Hot Wheels, and he had tons of them. Probably still has some laying around. And then my son loves Hot Wheels as well.
Nice.
And what's the other? Oh, Matchbox.
Matchbox.
So Matchbox is the other brand. And so it's kind of like which is the best. But Hot Wheels is the big name brand. Everybody is familiar with this, and so it was a lot of fun growing up to play with.
Yeah,
these
and I have quite a collection still in the package, a big old box full of them and everything. But
let me guess, is it in your garage?
Somewhere. Yeah, it's somewhere around one of my mini collections. But they have come into the new century.
Okay.
Much like the iPad we were talking about before, they have launched the new Hot Wheels ID Smart Track, and it's exclusively being sold at Apple stores. Now, this is not quite as intense as the DJI tank, but there's an app that goes with the cars, and you kind of can keep track of your cars in there and do all this stuff on this smart racetrack and everything. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, very neat.
And it's not too expensive either. Because once you start thinking smart things, you think, well, I'm going to be spending $500 to get this set up. There's the smart track is $180, which isn't cheap, but it looks pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There's the race portal for $40, and then I think the cars are like $5. So they're more expensive than the normal ones. But if you have a kid that's really into technology and Hot Wheels, or you yourself, take a look at this. You'll have to go to the Apple store, and you might be able to check it out.
I think this really is for dads out there.
Yes.
Because they're like, I had these as a kid, and here's version 2.0.
Here's how I'm going to pass this on to my children. ThinkGeek.com, Dave. Have you ever bought anything from ThinkGeek?
I don't believe I have, but I've admired many of the products. They have great T-shirts, nerd type culture.
Yeah.
Just swag, everything you
they
could want.
create all kinds of Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, all the kind of almost like Hot Topic type stuff where it's the really it's a super nerd e-commerce website. For April Fools, they would always come up with these very interesting, like way off the wall products, and some of them they would actually make. Yeah. But they are closing down the website.
I thought they were recently purchased by Amazon or something.
It wasn't Amazon. They were purchased by, I believe it's either GameStop or the parent company of GameStop.
It was GameStop, because I see the ThinkGeek stuff when I go visit my local GameStop.
And that's where they are moving to. They are going to just have a little section in all the GameStop stores, which makes sense. If you're nerdy enough to go to a GameStop, like you oft do.
Almost every day.
Yes, you're going to be drawn in by a little ThinkGeek section. But it is kind of sad. It has been a long time staple of the nerd community.
What is confusing to me is I would think that online they can offer many more products than they could carry in any of the stores. And so the selection is going to be small. And what does it really cost to put pictures on the web?
To run an e-commerce.
Not that much.
Not that much compared to what they had to be doing in sales.
Yeah.
I do not understand that move, but we'll pour one out for ThinkGeek.
Yeah.
Radiohead, the musical group Radiohead, they are very popular. Well, the lead singer had some original recordings stolen from him.
What?
And somebody was trying to ransom for them, saying, hey, if you don't pay us all this money, we're going to release these tracks out into the wild. And they thought about it and said, you know what? We'll release the tracks out. People can make a donation to the organization of our choice, and you're not going to benefit from putting all these recordings out. So they kind of said, well, I don't care about you ransom guys. So you have to be a pretty big Radiohead fan. I saw some joke about, you have to go pretty far to listen to 18 hours of like all these recordings and bathroom phone recordings of just working through songs. But it's all out there now, and you can go get it legitimately instead through these stupid scammers. But he must have had a good backup, because one backup is none backup, because if those were the only copies, then what do? You pay the ransom to get all this stuff back.
Yeah.
But he had another copy, so he said, we'll just put it out.
Good on him.
Have you heard of the app Depop?
I haven't. This sounds like I don't even know, something for teenagers.
Yes. So I saw it somewhere, a link to it, somebody talking about it recently, and then I saw another article about it, so I figured, hey, we better bring it up on the show.
Oh, I know where it's from. It's from those kids that did the Mmmbop.
Mmmbop.
Is this their
Hanson.
sequel?
Yes.
The Depop?
Their new app.
Depop?
Depop, or Bebop. Is that the name of those little toys where you have to ding, back, twist, all kinds of short, multi-word or created word things out there.
Who knows? Bebop, I think.
So Bebop, they're kind of pitching it as part Instagram, part eBay. And so I went on there and looked.
Those things don't line up at all. This is like
but they do for the teens.
My wedding dress and tackle shop I want to open.
Yes. Because on Instagram, people love showing off their clothes, vintage clothes. I follow a couple of vintage shops, but you can't really sell things through Instagram. But with Depop, D-E-P-O-P is how it's spelled, people can just post whatever clothes they have, old vintage stuff, unique clothing, and then people can buy it right from them. So it's kind of a e-commerce, but very photo heavy, and you can search for whatever you want. It's pretty interesting. I checked it out, and I looked for trucker hats because that's one of my mini collections, and there was thousands on there.
Here's no pile of my drawers. You want my drawers? They're in a pile.
Yeah, that's one thing I did kind of find. They have like a popular or trending area for stuff that's getting a lot of views, because once you start searching for things, it's like people can post anything. So I don't know if they have any sort of algorithm or way to kind of prioritize how cool things are. You can charge whatever you want. So you got some dingy old shirt and you're trying to charge $150 for it. And it's like, well, that's just going to sit there because nobody's going to buy that.
I don't see anything wrong with this. Right here, I'm looking at it, and you can buy a size large t-shirt for $2,499. Comes with a free Russian bride.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's no problem whatsoever with this.
Completely legal. So we'll see if Depop, I'm sure Instagram, I know that they were trying to work on building in. I think they've started rolling out some of that commerce stuff. So as soon as that happens, I don't think Depop will be around. So that's probably why they've been trying to get in the press to get some business while they can. Target. Did you happen to go by Target this weekend?
I haven't been in Target for a while.
Yeah. Well, did you happen to go to the Walmart near the Target by your house on Saturday?
Every day.
Yes. Because Target this weekend, all of their registers, their register system went out.
Oh, no.
Their credit card processing, they couldn't do. And actually, one of my neighbors, he manages a Target store, and I haven't seen him yet. He's probably still recovering.
Yeah.
But I did talk to his wife briefly, and she said it was the roughest day he's ever had in 20 years of retail.
Did they just send people out of the store and lock the doors?
They said like cash or gift cards, and I think it was down all day Saturday, and there's another outage on Sunday. So that's why I was wondering, Walmart on Saturday near your house, they're right across the street from each other. So if I saw the lines at Target, I would immediately head over to Walmart.
And I was helping my brother move all day Saturday.
Oh, lovely. That's fun.
I didn't go to any store.
Oh, bummer. But yeah, so they release a statement saying it was not a security outage. But again, this is one of those things when you start looking at technology and somebody as big as Target for all of their credit card processing, because I have to imagine credit card processing is at least 90% of all their transactions. Very few people use cash. Hopefully nobody's using a check, which I always seem to get behind the person using a check.
Don't use a check. So what's interesting about this, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, a guy doing some video stuff, and he was talking about backups and his logistical process for making backups when he's in the field and doing different things like that. And one of the things I hadn't considered, at least for some industries, especially like photography, they said, maybe you should print out your photos. And I was like, what? But if you are a professional photographer and you have access to a really high resolution printer and you sell prints or whatever, maybe you should print all your stuff off and keep them in an archive. One of the things he was saying is if the internet went away tomorrow because of some type of virus or terrorist attack or whatever, that much of the past 30 years will be lost. There's no hard copies of anything. It lives on a drive somewhere. And if you can't access it, you can't access the data. So, so maybe be thinking about some analog ways to back up.
Those old credit card sliders with the carbon copy and handwriting down. I do not suggest any business write down any credit card number ever, but it's one of those things that...
But it's something to think about.
Yeah, I'm sure moving forward they will look at different options for having a system so that they don't lose... the day before Father's Day, they don't lose...
or at least have a redundant backup system.
Yeah. Well, security and privacy, that one hopefully was not a security issue. But this one's been going around the last couple days. Samsung's security reminder on their TVs. So their smart TVs, they did a tweet from Samsung Support USA that said, scanning your computer for malware viruses is important to keep it running smoothly. This also is true for your QLED QLED
Yeah.
TV if it's connected to Wi-Fi. Prevent malicious software attacks on your TV by scanning for viruses on your TV every few weeks. Here's how.
No, Samsung, this is your responsibility. It is not my responsibility to check for viruses on my TV.
No. Yeah, and that's even The Verge's headline says, Samsung security reminder makes the case for not owning a Samsung smart TV.
Exactly.
So that one,
Wow.
That was a very poor tweet. I think they're doing some PR remediation after that one, because you should not have to remember to go in and run an antivirus check on your TV every 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. I would have rather buy a dumb TV that's just a monitor than to buy this thing. So forget it.
Other quick story: Customs and Border Patrol of the United States says that traveler photos and license plate images were stolen in a data breach.
Of course they were.
Which always makes me think of the ironic statement, government grade security or government level security.
Yeah.
But in this case, what happened is they were using a third party company to do some, whatever processing of data or whatever it was. They took these images, and they weren't supposed to. They were holding them on their own servers, and somebody got in and got those images off. It doesn't sound like there was like passport information. It was just kind of a database of all the license plates that had gone through one border point, I believe, to Canada.
Well, I'm sure the consequence will be this company will be given a grant of $20 million to beef up their security versus a consequence of being fired.
Yeah. So security is tough, but that's why we always have a bonus odd take to look at something that's a little fun after those oft not fun security and privacy stories. This one is one that you found. The website, the domain name is great. It's pudding.cool. And Dave, tell us a little bit about this website.
So there's a website out there called Wikipedia that some of you may have heard of. And so this website, pudding.cool, is a people map of the U.S., and the city names on this map are replaced by their most Wikipedia'd resident. For example, I come from a small town of Wescan, Kansas. It's in western Kansas, hence the name Westcan, Kansas. I'm probably the most famous person to have ever lived there.
True.
So if you went to there on the map, you would say David Baylor. And here in the Portland area, it's probably Nate Heath or something like that.
Yeah, at least in Tualatin.
Yeah, so it's funny, wherever the person came from or is associated with, that's replaces the names of the cities. So it's just kind of fun to look at and see who are the famous people in these areas. So I'll give you an easy one, Nate. Who do you think is the biggest one in the Seattle area?
Kurt Cobain.
That is a big one.
There's Jeff Bezos? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates was the one I was looking for. His dot seems to be the biggest. Kurt Cobain, though, down in Olympia.
Oh,
a little bit south of there. So
yeah, and I looked at Portland, and it's actually Steve Jobs, but he famously spent some time here at Reed College. So it's not necessarily they were born and raised there, but they're related to that way. Now, Tualatin, or let's pick Sherwood, where you live.
Okay.
What would you pick for Sherwood, Dave?
It's probably some former mayor or something like that.
Does the name Jim Benning ring any bells?
No.
And for Tualatin, Brett Harrison. Neither of them I've heard of.
That sounds like a sports star.
Yeah.
Athlete.
Brett Harrison. But it doesn't look like I'm unable to click to see what. Oh, here we go. It gives you a little box at the bottom. Brett Michael Harrison is an American actor and musician known predominantly for his work on comedy television series such as Grounded for Life, The Loop, Reaper, and Breaking In, which I don't think I have watched any of those shows before.
Yeah, so your mileage may vary on the notoriety of the celebrity on your hometown.
It's whatever's most searched for that. Now, James Elmer Benning is a Canadian professional ice hockey executive and former player. He serves as a general manager of the Vancouver Canucks in the National Hockey League. So that was for Sherwood. But yeah, it's just a fun look to go find your town, go see what people are looking for in your town as far as people go.
And people in Walla Walla, Washington might be familiar with this person, Adam West, the 1960s Batman.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Very
Interesting.
cool. Yep, go take a look at that. We'll have a link in the show notes, as we always do. And also, as we always do, our picks of the week.
So my pick of the week, I went back and forth, and I've listed multiple things here.
Yes, you have.
But I decided on the one that I'm going to talk about today, and we'll save the others for another day. But since it was Father's Day, I wanted to talk about what my family got for me.
Nice.
Now, this is a product that my brother mentioned to me a couple months ago in passing, and a thing that he really loved. And so I mentioned it to my family and said, hey, this would be great. So it is a Yeti, kind of a tumbler, a mug, if you will. Are you familiar with the Yeti brand?
I am. I know they are very high quality thermal containers.
Yes, thermal containers. They make big, like coffee mug type things. They make small ones. They make like insulated packs.
Coolers. They're cool, like huge camping coolers.
Camping and outdoor party fun type stuff that's associated with beverages. And so I've got this nice kind of steel blue stainless steel container. It's got a plastic lucite type top. And I got to tell you, I made a cup of coffee in this thing this morning about 9:30ish. Did a bunch of stuff, came to work, ran some errands, did the thing. I was talking to a coworker here, and I think it was about 11:30. Yeah, it was right at 11:30. I said, hey, look at my new gift I got. And I said, let's see how warm it is. It was still piping hot.
Wow.
Several hours
Nice.
later. So I love it. If you are looking for this is a tech product. I mean, there's a lot of high tech that went into the manufacture of this with vacuum sealed insulation and material science and all those things. So Yeti is the brand to get if you want a nice tumbler to keep your coffee in for your commutes.
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of my clients about swag, like that you would give away at a trade show or an event, something like that. And we were talking about just all the junky stuff you get where it's just not quality, and then people relate that not quality. And then I think I was looking through Reddit, and somebody had received with a branded name on it, an actual Yeti mug very similar to yours. And they're like, I like this company now because they did this right. So, Yeti's got a great reputation, and I'm sure could have been purchased on Amazon. You can buy their stuff online. So check it out, and we'll get a link in the show notes for that. My pick of the week also comes from Amazon, and this is, I actually brought it in with me, the Buki Cable Clip Self-Adhesive Desk Cable Organizer Durable Cord Management Wire Holder Wire Management System Pack of 10 Black. Now, I know we've talked about similar things before, but I have a bunch, as you can imagine, a bunch of cables next to my chair at home in the living room. I have 2 lightning chargers, a USB charger, a laptop charger, couple other USB things around there. So I went on Amazon, did a search, and I found this one. It's a 10-pack. I'll hand it over to you, Dave. There's different sizes. So there's some that are just for a single cable, and it's a low black disc with a little kind of clip on top.
Yeah, I've seen
and then
these.
Adhesive on the back. But you get a 10-pack. The largest one will hold 5 cables. So that's what I put next to my chair on my little side table there. And I need to put some more up around the house. But just a very nice cable management. That's something we don't talk about a whole lot. It's just,
I think it's awesome.
Tidy up your cables so you're not having to untangle. And we actually, here in the recording studio, we have a bunch of cables that you had some
Looped
Lego
around.
figures that were trying to hold on to them for a while and everything.
Yeah, that is a better solution.
Yes.
For sure.
So for this, Dave, what would you pay?
Now, I do not want to go high on this. There doesn't appear to be a name brand on it.
No,
at all.
it says Buki on the thing, but the packaging itself, it's the CC 949 model. It's got 10 in there.
It's the 949 model. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with $6.99 on this thing.
You are spot on, sir.
Really?
Just for that, I will let you have 1 or 2 of these.
Yes.
$6.99 Prime, free 1-day delivery. But yeah, for $7, to be able to organize all your cable, you probably have those. We have the ones in the kitchen that are kind of dangling off the island and
by your bed and on your desk, all the places
everywhere.
we mentioned.
So many cables. But yeah, check it out. They have some other options available with more or less or whatever, white, black, all those things.
Well, not to rain on your parade, but real-time follow-up, the Yeti tumblers are available on Amazon.
Oh,
for
very nice.
$29.
And speaking of Amazon, we love it when you guys use our Amazon links to shop on Amazon. Amazon.notnerd.com is our affiliate. We are affiliates with them. So when you shop through those links, we get a little kickback. And today we have something. I like it when people are buying, not just buying technology. I do love it when I see stuff in there in the anonymous reports of stuff we've talked about on the show, because I'm like, nice, people are actually listening and remembering to go through the link and buying stuff they're actually interested in what we're talking about every once in a while.
Thank you, Mom.
Yes. Unless it's us buying stuff that we told each other about.
That's true.
But today we've got something you might not think about going to Amazon for. This is the Honeywell Ceiling Fans 50600-01 Ocean Breeze Contemporary 30-inch LED frosted light oak satin nickel finish blades, white. A ceiling fan.
A ceiling fan with a lamp.
Yes. Yeah. LED frosted light on there.
You never have to change the bulb in that thing.
No. And now this one is interesting because it's actually a 30-inch, which it looks like it's probably quite a bit stubbier than your typical fan. But sometimes you have a place where you don't have room to put a huge ceiling fan. But
it is a little stubbier, but it looks like the pitch of those blades is pretty severe. So I bet it moves some air around still.
Yes, it does. I do not see, there's probably some statistics down here, but it's a contemporary ceiling fan, quiet reversible motor, dual finish reversible blades.
I need one of those in here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll need to buy these and we'll use Amazon.Notnerd.com. Now, Dave, I don't know how many ceiling fans you've purchased in your life.
Probably zero, but my sister bought one about 25 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty well educated on the topic. Mm-hmm. What would you pay for this Honeywell? It's a good name in home fans, I guess, in home devices.
I've got a price in my mind. It might be a little low, but I'm going to go with it anyway. $79.82.
Oh, you're close. $69.97.
Oh. Yes. Well, Amazon did it again. They came in under what I would be willing to pay for something like that.
Yes. And as with many more expensive products, you can pay $11.66 a month for 6 months on interest-free with your Amazon Prime Rewards Visa card.
Wow.
Okay, well, that was our Ramazon pick of the week. Keep shopping through those links. We love it. Make sure you're checking out our YouTube channel. We're adding stuff on there all the time. Mm-hmm. Leave a review in iTunes. Make sure you just subscribe in the podcast app. I'm actually, for a client of mine, going to be helping them with a video on how to get people to subscribe to a podcast because their industry, probably not a lot of tech-savvy people, but just say, hey, here's how you get the app on your phone. Here's how you hit subscribe. And then it just shows up every week and you can listen when it's ready or when you're ready.
Yeah. And don't forget that June is the official worldwide Share the Notnerd podcast with a neighbor month.
Yes, it is the official month of that. So make sure you do that. Check out our Patreon too. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers that help support the show. With that, get out there and tech better. Speaking of 3D object. Speaking of 3D. Speaking of 3D objects,